Welcome to Fruity Knitting. I'm Madeline.
And I'm Andrea.
And this is episode 164. Fruity Knitting is your gateway to knitting inspiration from around the world, as well as some extra snippets of travel, history, and storytelling that we hope adds joy to your life and brings a smile to your face.
And it's really great to be back with you. A lot has happened since I last sat here on the couch with Madeline. We've recently returned from hosting our first knitting retreat at Bovey Castle with Marie Wallen. So that was in County Devon in the UK, and it went really well. Everybody was very happy, which is exactly what we aim for. And as usual, Madeline and I really enjoyed meeting all the participants. I would say for myself, it's definitely up there as being a highlight, because we seem to attract a wonderfully international group of people, and everybody brings their own unique energy to the retreat. And it just makes it, I think, exciting for us as much as it does for the participants. So, it's always fun. And it was really great to see a couple of familiar faces joining us again. That felt really nice, like catching up with friends who you hadn't seen for a while. So all in all, it was a really great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, last week, we finally launched our yarn website, artisanfibres.com, which our Fruity Knitting patrons got early access to. So thank you so much to our patrons for your interest, your orders, and your enthusiasm. We feel very honoured and encouraged by the positive response so far. And also thank you to many of you for your patience, because we have had some hiccups with our shipping provider, UPS. Our account manager sort of disappeared for a while and hadn't activated our accounts, which meant that we weren't able to dispatch many of our international orders. So we're very grateful for your patience on that. It looks like the matter is going to be resolved for all countries very soon. So hopefully we will be able to dispatch your orders by Monday or Tuesday latest.
Yes, we've got a strong learning curve and we're still learning, but we're doing our best. So thanks again for your patience. Now on to our program. We have an exciting guest today in this episode. Somebody that many of you may not yet know, and that's Irina Heemann. She's a German designer who we met last year at the Swiss Yarn Festival, where she was teaching workshops on her really innovative design techniques. So Irina's designs are inspired by diagonal constructions. So that means the fabric of her garments lies on the bias, and that gives them this really gorgeous drape and flowing movement. And to achieve this, she's often working in triangular shapes. So her construction ideas are actually really interesting. She likes to start with just one stitch, and then she'll knit the entire garment diagonally around the whole body, and she'll end with just one stitch. And so naturally it's seamless, totally seamless. And like I said, apart from it being knitted on the bias, which creates this very beautiful flow and drape, which suits the female curves very, very well, it also means that you can knit off in different directions. And then if you just add a simple stitch pattern or change colour in that new direction, the end effect is really remarkable, and it actually would be way more technically difficult to achieve if you were going to construct it in the typical top-down or bottom-up. So I think the interview is a real treat, especially for nerdy knitters. You'll really enjoy it. And it's definitely going to challenge what you think is possible with knitting.
Yep, and I'm still under construction with my beautiful Alcoves sweater by Unwind Knitwear, which is a cabled design made specifically for our yarn range, Fruity Knitting Sport, so that's exciting. Mum has a finished project to share with you, so I think we should start with her in Bring and Brag.
Yeah, so I'm happily wearing my latest finished jumper. This is it here. And it was completely knitted in our new yarns, which is super exciting for us. Actually, this piece was knitted in a sample test spin. So our yarns are a sport weight. If you're not sure what sport weight is, it's a little bit thicker than a fingering, but not as thick as a DK. And our yarns are worsted spun. That means all the fibres are aligned before spinning, and that makes it a little smoother and softer and also more durable. And our yarns are 4-ply. So all in all, that means it's a very round yarn that's soft and smooth. Actually, it's so soft you can wear it directly on your skin. And that wasn't a criteria that we had on top of our list when we were designing the yarns. It's just a very happy side effect. which we're super grateful for. But during the test phase, the test spinning phase, we also tried out a 3-ply version with a slightly looser twist. And we did that in this colour here, which you can tell I'm excited, but I think it's super luscious. We call this colour Billabong. In the end, we decided to go against this 3-ply version, but it did mean we had a small stash of yarn, which I didn't want to go to waste. And the great thing is there's not actually a big difference between the 3-ply and the 4-ply. We just think the 4-ply is superior yarn. And they both knit up to exactly the same gauge, which is roughly 23 or 24 stitches per 10 centimetres or 4 inches. And that makes it perfect for this design here, which is the Low Tide by Rachel Ilsley, who's the designer behind Unwind Knitwear, and who we featured in episode 157. So Low Tide has a very beautiful eyelet lace and cable pattern that runs down the front and the back with a smaller version of the motif going along the sleeves. And the design represents ripples of sand, tiny rivulets of water, and scattered pebbles and shells that are left on the beach as the tide goes out. So that's the lovely evocative image that Rachel paints with her description. The garment is worked top down, mostly in the round, with a saddle shoulder and a compound raglan arm scathe. So mainly when I've been knitting with our yarns, I've used a 3.75mm needle, but for this garment I went up to 4mm because I needed a slightly looser tension so that I could better match the recommended tension for this pattern. And to my surprise, it worked really well. I still think you can see the eyelet and cable stitch pattern very clearly, and the yarn looks very good and still looks neat at this looser gauge. So I was very happy with that. So mainly I knitted on 4mm needles, but I did go down to 3.75mm just for about 8 centimetres around the waist to give it a slight bit of waist shaping. So Rachel writes this design to have about 7 or 10 centimetres positive ease. As you know, I like to have my garments very fitted, so I made mine with much less ease. So it meant that I really didn't need to do a lot of waist shaping, and just going down that needle size did the trick here. But if you did want to put in waist shaping, this is a great design to do it in because you've got these stocking stitch panels at the side, so you can put in your decreases and increases without being disturbed or disturbing a pattern. So that's really good. And talking about small modifications, Rachel does give you a lot of flexibility to adjust the pattern with small modifications. She actually helps you and writes it in the patterns. For example, we've got a neckband which is about 2 centimetres. It's just a 1x1 ribbing. She also tells you how to do it without the neckband if you want sort of like a looser or a wider neck, which also looks good. And if you need to widen the sleeve cap or lengthen the depth of the arm scathe, she also writes that into the pattern and shows you how to do it. And even things like if you're going to make the arms longer or shorter, she doesn't just say knit longer, knit more length or make it shorter. She actually tells you how to reposition the decreases so that it's actually fitting you really beautifully. So I think that's very, very valuable. Okay, so getting on to how it's constructed, because it is a very interesting construction. But before I do that, I just want to quickly say, sometimes I do feel really sorry for newbie knitters who are starting out with their first sweater, because top down in the round is a very popular construction. Everyone loves to do it now. But it is tricky because you're starting off immediately with so many things you've got to juggle and understand and keep track of at once. You've got your neck shaping and your shoulder shaping and your armhole shaping, which involves doing a whole lot of increases at the same time as learning a new pattern. And I started knitting jumpers when I was about 12. And back then it was the typical traditional bottom up in pieces, and that's very beginner friendly because you start off with your rib, which is 1x1 or 2x2, and then you're just basically knitting back and forward for a rectangle, and you're learning the pattern. And by the time you need to do any shaping at the armholes, you've kind of memorized or at least familiarized yourself with the pattern, and then it just makes it easier to tackle two things at once, shaping and pattern. So I do sometimes feel a bit sorry for newbie knitters, but hang in there. Having said that, Rachel does do a really great tutorial video to get you started on this design. She talks you through the neckband and the saddle shoulder construction. So I highly, highly recommend watch this video. Even like I'm a very experienced knitter, it really helped me because you watch it, you can visualize, you understand what happens, and then you go and read the pattern and it makes sense. So I recommend that. Now onto this very interesting construction, and I hope you follow along. You start off with a neckband that's just 1 by 1 ribbing, and you do that in the round. That's pretty simple. And then you're going to, so this is the beginning of your round here at the back neck. Then you're going to knit this little saddle shoulder piece or an epaulette. And you're going to do that back and forward. It's about 8 centimeters wide. You're going to knit it flat back and forward until you've reached the right amount. And then you're going to pick up stitches along the front edge of this little saddle shoulder bit. You've already got your 1 by 1 ribbing neckband, live stitches, and so you knit across them until you get to the other side. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make this little epaulette or saddle shoulder. So you knit back and forward, knitting and purling until you get to the right amount, and you'll end at the far side here. Then you pick up and knit stitches along the back edge of that little saddle shoulder. You knit across your live stitches that have been on hold for the neckband, and you end up here. So you have to pick up stitches along the back edge of this saddle shoulder, and then you're almost completely in the round. The only section that's stopping you from knitting in the round is this front edge. So when you knit around and you get there, you pick up stitches and you're totally in the round. Okay, that's the exciting bit, but then there's something else. If you can imagine, you've got a little neckband and then you've got your saddle shoulders, but in each of these little corners, you've got a little triangle, like a missing piece. So when you get around to that triangle here, you go back and forward in short rows to fill it in. You knit across the neckband, back and forward in short rows to fill this one in. You pick up those stitches along the front edge of the saddle shoulder, and you do the same with the two little triangles that are missing on the mirrored back positions. And then you are totally in the round. So that I think is super clever and good. And she shows you this in the video, so it helps you understand the construction. From then on, you just continue knitting in the round as if it's a yoke sweater. You add increases where the raglan shaping would be, but instead of doing a traditional raglan shaping, which means increasing regularly every second row, Rachel uses compound shaping, and that means that she's increasing slowly near the top, but at a faster ratio near the armholes. So I really love this design. I think it's very pretty and elegant. I think it's quite versatile. You could wear it with a really shiny skirt as evening wear, or like me today with jeans. In fact, Rachel on her Instagram feed has got a photo of someone who knitted it and wore it for their wedding, and it looked really beautiful, didn't it?
Yeah.
Their version is slightly more oversized and drapey, and I think they did it in a off-white or maybe a light beige or something. But it was very, very beautiful. And I think it also looks good in a dark colour because you can clearly still see the stitch definition. So if you like this design and you like how our yarns look in this design, you can now get it because we're going to offer kits on our website, artisanfibres.com. And you'll be able to buy the amount for your size. And of course, there's going to be a link there as well for you that'll take you directly to Rachel's website where you can buy the pattern.
Yeah, so last week we quietly announced the launch of our yarn website, artisanfibres.com, to our fruity knitting patrons as a small token of gratitude for their ongoing support of this podcast. And today we're delighted to officially announce it to all of our viewers. And in many ways, that first week also served as a gentle trial period, allowing us to settle into the rhythm of processing orders and managing shipping. Our yarns were received with lots of enthusiasm, which we're incredibly grateful for. Now, if you've ever worked with Mum before, you'll know that she loves to plan things thoroughly in advance because her motto is, no matter how much you plan, you have to expect that something will go wrong. And
it's true.
Yeah, I've often rolled my eyes at that because it can be a bit exhausting, but she's proven me wrong many times. And unfortunately, she also proved me wrong this time because shortly before the launch of our website, we lost all contact to our UPS account manager, who still needed to activate our shipping accounts. Now, that meant that we were able to process our orders, but we weren't able to dispatch a lot of our international orders. So all of our calls and emails went unanswered. We reached out to UPS customer support in general multiple times, but they are of no help with urgent matters like these because they don't connect you directly with the responsible team. Instead, they write up your inquiry and send it off into the internet somewhere to be read by someone from customer support at some point in time.
It's a real Kafka novel, I can tell you. It
felt that way, yeah. It felt that way. Anyway, we eventually reached out to the UPS executive team in the US with the help of ChatGPT because you can't immediately find their email address.
And we got a lot of sleuth work.
Oh my goodness, we did. But we got an apologetic response the next day. It still took a while till we heard back from our account manager, who it turns out had been sick for the past few weeks, and they had not organised a replacement for him. So that was also just very unfortunate timing, plus some bad organisation on UPS's part. And we were just left in the dark for that time, not knowing what on earth was going on, how we as customers were suddenly just ignored.
Yeah, it was incredibly stressful.
It was.
But seems to have just been a startup hiccup.
Yeah.
And once it's all set, it should just be automatic.
It should be pretty automatic. And not all of UPS has bad customer service, by the way. It's just kind of like these little departments that are worse or better. Anyway, it seems like the issue is about to resolve itself, which is really nice. So we are hoping that we can ship those remaining orders by Monday or Tuesday latest.
Yeah.
All of this is to say thank you so much for your patience, and we have been doing our best to resolve this issue as quick as possible.
Yes, it's kind of funny because it's not funny, but we wanted to say thank you to our patrons, so we allowed our patrons to be the first customers. But dear patrons, you've also been the ones who have had to put up with this, so thank you again.
Yeah. Moving on to more pleasant topics. This is our Alcoves sweater designed by Unwind Knitwear. So Rachel Ilsley, the same designer who made the beautiful low-tide sweater, specifically made for our yarn range, Fruity Knitting Sport. I'm still under construction with it. So I'm knitting my Alcoves in white opal, which is our only mild yarn. It combines 1 ply of pure white fibre with 3 plies of white blended with small amounts of turquoise, yellow, blue and red. So the knitted up fabric has a beautiful soft milky undertone with these bright flecks of colour, just like a white opal gemstone, and opals are my favourite gemstone, so I think this yarn is really special. So first you knit the back piece and you immediately start with short rows combined with learning a new cabled pattern. For the short row technique, Rachel recommends German short rows because they're actually really easy to learn and they are very neat because they don't create those little gaps whenever you stop in the middle of a row, turn your work around and work the other way. If you're unfamiliar with German short rows, Fruity Knitting patrons can actually find a very helpful tutorial on our Patreon page. Just visit the tutorials collection and search for German short rows. And in this tutorial, Mum shows you how the wrap and turn versus a German short row looks in your knitted fabric. And then she demonstrates how to work the German short rows. So I actually had to rip back my short rows, unsurprisingly, the first time around because I made a small mistake in the cable pattern. And this is because I mainly knit on my busy commute to work on the train. So oftentimes you can't even sit down, it's really loud, and you suddenly have to pick up your knitting and get out the train before you miss your stop. I don't recommend starting the pattern this way. So if you're starting this design, I recommend it. It's beautiful, but start somewhere quiet in a nice peaceful environment where you really get to focus on the instructions because learning a new cable pattern and doing short rows is a bit much on the train, but it's very doable.
How many times did you have to rip back?
Once.
Okay, it's improving.
Yeah. So the recommended needle size is 3.5 millimeter needles. I'm using that needle size. My stitch gauge matches the recommended gauge at 24 stitches per 10 centimeters. My row gauge, however, is slightly tighter at 34 rows instead of 32 rows per 10 centimeters. So what that means is that if I were to strictly follow the instructions in the pattern, my armhole depth would be too short and I would have a very tight sleeve or armhole, which is uncomfortable. So what I have to do is I simply add a few extra rows before joining the front and back pieces together to knit the body and the round. So it's not very complicated. In general, the deeper your armhole depth, the wider your sleeve circumference, because you'll have more stitches to pick up around the armhole to knit the sleeve with. Yeah. After I knitted the back piece, I put those stitches on hold, and then I had to pick up stitches along the cast on edge to knit the two front pieces. At first you knit them separately because you've got a head that has to fit in between, and then they join together to create the neckline.
So that's where you picked up on this side here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's looking lovely.
Thank you.
It's a gorgeous pattern, isn't it?
Now, in the past, I've only ever picked up stitches along the shoulders in a stocking stitch pattern. I always pick them up this way, which places my picked up stitches in between the cast on stitches of the back piece. And this means that the stitches on the front piece are offset by half a stitch, which you normally wouldn't notice. And keep in mind that the knit stitches on the back piece are facing downwards, so they look like upside down V's. But with alcoves, you start right away with the cable pattern, so you want the stitches to line up perfectly. And that is why Rachel instructs you to pick up the stitches into the center of each cast on stitch, rather than between the cast on stitches. The end result is that the cables on the back smoothly transition into the cables on the front. So right now I have cast on and completed the short rows on the right front piece. This is the back, that's the right front piece. Now I'm going to pick up stitches along the left front piece and knit that part before I start joining them together. And then hopefully things will go a bit faster once I've joined both pieces together and just have the front to knit, because you have no short rows or any decreasing, increasing to think about. Yeah, it has taken me a rather long time, but I have been incredibly busy these past weeks.
I work her very hard.
Yes. Okay, so coming up now is our interview with Irina Heemann, which we're very excited about. But before that, we want to say a very big thank you to all of you who support the show financially as Fruity Knitting patrons. The Fruity Knitting podcast has been our full-time work for many years now, and we continue to rely on your financial support to keep the show going. As a Fruity Knitting patron, you make a small monthly donation, which can start as low as $5. And when enough of our viewers come together to support the show in this way, what it does is it provides us with a steady, reliable income so we can keep producing the new episodes with a varied program from knitting tutorials and updates on our projects on the couch to covering knitting festivals and fantastic interviews with knitwear designers, mill owners, sheep and alpaca farmers, and other passionate handcrafters from other areas of the fibre community, all to inspire you in your personal knitting journey. This is all for you. And we believe that the Fruity Knitting podcast does make a meaningful contribution to the world of knitting. So we would very much appreciate your support to help us continue this channel by becoming a patron. So visit patreon.com/fruityknitting to become a Hebridean, a Merino or Shetland patron.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your support.
Maybe we need to add a Falklands Corriedale breed for our yarns.
Yeah.
And we're also really, really happy to announce that our special interview guest for this episode, who is Irina Heemann, is offering Fruity Knitting patrons a 30% discount off all her self-published patterns on Ravelry. She's also known as Stricken, Ohne, Naht. That means Knitting Without Seams in German. So this is a really generous offer, and thanks a lot to Irina. So as Madeline said, the really good interviews coming up now. I think you're going to learn a lot. Irina is a lovely, lovely person. If you ever get a chance to attend one of her workshops, I think you'll totally enjoy yourself and learn a lot. So thank you for spending time with us again, and we look forward to seeing you very soon in April.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
J'y vois d'ici sans être dur. N'ai-je rien à ménager? Sans frayeur dans ce bois, seul je suis venue. J'y vois d'ici sans être dur. N'ai-je rien à
Okay, so we're just smiling into the camera to start off with.
Yes.
Welcome to Fruity Knitting. I'm very excited to have Irina Heemann join me today. Irina is a highly skilled designer from Germany who specializes in seamless knitting, and her designs are inspired by diagonal constructions and triangular shapes. And they also offer quite a fresh perspective on fit and texture. So during our interview today, we're going to be exploring Irina's very innovative constructions, which she's also teaching in workshops here at the Swiss Yarn Festival. So Irina, thank you for coming on Fruity Knitting.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Good, good. So let's start by hearing a bit about your background and how you developed your particular method of seamless garment construction.
Okay, I studied fashion design and focused on knitting.
Mm-hmm.
I earned a BA in fashion design and a MA in textile design. After that, I'm making I'm making machine knitted costumes for theaters, operas, and ballet companies.
Cool.
and also I made hand knitting patterns for yarn labels and for knitting magazines.
Okay.
In my master's studies, I use the short and long rows and create special designs with this.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you use the long and short rows to form the heel or lengthen the upper back. I use it for different parts, for 3D and 2D, for different knitting directions, or to put colors together.
Okay, cool. And then you also authored a book.
Yes, a book. I wrote a book about my knitting technique, and at the end of the year it will be a new book, and my daughter and I will modeling, because the book is about women and children.
Okay, that's super cool. And it's called, in German, it's called Stricken ohne Naht. Yeah?
Yes, knitting without seams.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, so most of your designs are actually knitted diagonally, similar to the bias grain in sewing. And so I'm just wondering, how does a diagonally knitted fabric sort of influence the fit or the aesthetic of a garment, just compared to the typical way of knitting it either top down or bottom up?
Yes. Woven fabrics have threads running vertically and horizontally.
Yeah.
If you cut on the bias, that's 45 degrees to the edge,
Mm-hmm.
you get a stretchable fabric.
Yeah.
If you cut parallel to the edge, it does not stretch. It's like a knitting. If you knit in a diagonal direction, you have a stretchable knitting fabric, but also it has a very special drape. If you can imagine a circle skirt, it has a really, really special drape. It moves. It's like dancing, I think.
Yeah.
And if you are knitting in a diagonal direction, you have something the same like a circle skirt.
Okay.
It's very same. It looks great on your body. it flatters curves.
Yeah. and I guess it works over the shoulder well too, doesn't it? The
Yes.
transition.
Yes, it was the main thing I realized, that if I'm working with triangle in a diagonal direction, it's better to make the transition from the torso to the shoulders and up to the sleeves. That's a special thing because I'm working with triangle.
Okay. And Irina's got some swatches here in front of us, and she's going to show us how she constructs her garment. She's just gone through it with me. It's very, very interesting. So let's start. Because you start with just one stitch, don't you?
Yes, for the most time we start only with one stitch on our needle. Then we are making a little triangle like this one by increasing stitches.
So where do you increase here?
Yes, we have 4 different places to increase the stitches. 1 here and 1 here and 2 at the middle.
Okay, so that's your first little triangle.
Yes, the first little.
And then?
And then we have also 4 different spaces. This one is here. We have 2 right and left increases.
Yeah.
Here's the middle stitches. I think you can show. And the 4th increase is here.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, and so even though this is going in this direction, this is just garter stitch and this is stocking stitch, and that's what you like to combine together, which actually emphasizes the directions, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's like the next size triangle, and then you have to do 2 the same, don't you?
Yes, if you want to make a sweater, you have to knit 2 nearly the same triangle.
So
one for the front and 1 for the back.
Okay.
And if you have this both on our needle, we have to put both together. And
that's
yes,
the next one?
The next one.
Okay. So if you hold that one out.
Yes. This one is the front and this is the back. And we put both together here with the technique by 3 needle bind off.
Okay, so here then you're knitting up and down and up and down. Okay.
Yes.
And then do you have to join these as well?
Yes, we want to get around
Okay.
to knitting.
Okay, so there it is there. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. We put both together for the first time here with 3 needle bind off. We are working here up, also do our increases, and then we go down, put both triangles together.
With another.
Yes, with another 3 needle bind off. And now we have a round.
Okay.
So you.
But it's a round that's not like a normal round.
No.
You're knitting up. Okay, so you are increasing here. Still, 1 stitch here, 2 stitches up the top, 1 stitch down there. So you're knitting up and down, and then you turn around and you're doing the same thing, up and down. And that's 1 round.
That's 1 round.
Okay. And so now we've got a jumper. Her basic design is the jiggy pullover.
Yes.
And that's basically how you do this construction. And then we can show all the variations that are possible.
Yes.
Okay, so here it is here. We start here. You talk us through on this.
Yes, we start with only 1 stitch, and the first stitch is here. The first triangle is here. Then we start by making a bigger triangle. You can this one and this one and this one.
And that's still just one side.
One side, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's this triangle.
Yeah.
If we get our triangle, we have to cut the yarn and then to start with another triangle for the back.
Just like this. So
Yes.
you're on that second stage of doing 2 triangles. Where are we?
Yes.
The same. 1 for the front, 1 for the back. Okay, so once we've done that, then we do the 3 needle bind off on both sides. Okay, so this is a big jumper to save us moving it back and forward. Then we've joined it. So how big is it when we've joined it?
How big? It's something like that.
Okay.
And then we have to work in the length to get our length. So you have two different things. You have to increase here and decrease here and here at the side. If you increase at every second round here 2 stitches and decrease here and here 2 stitches, you get a straight model.
Yeah, okay. But yours is going slightly out.
Yes. That's why I'm decreasing only in every 4th round.
Okay.
And not in every second.
Okay, and so what's exciting here still is we're still knitting in the round, but going up, going down,
Yes.
and then on the back side going up and going down.
Yes,
and
that's
so
right.
we do that. Do we do that all the way to here?
Yes, until something and here. Here's the triangle.
Okay.
All the stitches here and at the back are on our needle. Then we have to start to form the neck with short rows.
Okay.
So we are not knitting in rounds, but now we are starting with rows. Here, then we knit
up on the back side.
Yes, at the back side. Then knitting here, and we start shortened the rows.
Okay, to get the curve of the neck.
Yes.
And so then we do this whole shoulder section.
Yes.
Is that right?
We have yes, nearly. If the neck at the front is not so high like at the back. If we are here, we leave all the stitches on one side on the needle and work only the other stitches for one side. For example, we start with this side, we knit this stitches, but not this stitches.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've got to get rid of some stitches, as you can see here, otherwise the sleeves are going to be massive. Very 80s puffy maybe. Okay, so that's why you do a decrease down the centre of the sleeve.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
And here is the line. Perhaps you can see it. These are long rows.
Okay.
For shaping the transition from the torso to the shoulder and then to the sleeve. You can see it, the different knitting direction. This, and then we get this direction.
Yeah. Okay, that's so unique. And what I can immediately see is that, and what you can really see in your pullover here and this one here, is that all you have to do is either change the stitch pattern or the coloured yarn, and you get these incredibly interesting patterns that look like intarsia.
Yes, it looks like.
Yeah, so
But it's only short rows and long rows.
Yeah, that's really, really unique. Okay, so that's exciting. I want you to talk about this construction, because that you just saw the basic construction. So a lot of her designs have that as the central theme, and then they have lots of variations on it.
And lots of variations.
So hopefully you're still with us. This is something which you can see very clearly just using stocking stitch and garter stitch. So it's slightly different because if I've understood you correctly, you start in the same way with the triangle.
Yes.
But here you can see we've got these panels going up the front. So explain that. So we get up to, I think we have to do it separately, don't we? So tell us.
Here we have 2 different colors and 2 different stitch patterns.
Stitch patterns, yeah.
Yes, both colors and patterns.
Okay, yeah.
We start with one stitch, then we knit only a garter stitch, this first triangle. Then we have to knit this triangle in stockinette stitch and in another color.
And that's all still rows back and forward.
Yes, still rows until we have this triangle. That's the first one. After that, we have the this one. I don't know what's the hem.
Width.
No,
the hem.
The hem. Yes, it's a half of the hem. And then we have to go until to the length.
We don't want to get wider, we just want to get longer.
Yes, only longer.
Okay.
So we start with short rows here, but we have also increase the stitches here. And like here, we have garter stitch, stockinette stitch, and 2 different colors.
Okay. And from my understanding, what you're doing is you're always keeping the stitches on the needle.
Yes.
So you're doing short rows to make this inner triangle, this inner
That's right.
long triangle, to be like a triangle. But you're leaving the stitches on the sides so that when you finish this panel, you've got stitches on your needle all the
Yes.
way down
Yes,
here.
that's right.
So am I right to say that you do that on the front and then you do exactly the same on the back?
Exactly.
And then we're working another weird construction. I think some people are going to really geek out on this. Okay, and so then are we working like this?
Yes, we have to put both triangles together like there, but we are working in rows. We have to form our neck. We start here, we knit down, we knit 2 stitches together, and then we are working on the back
And
side
with the back side here.
and go up.
Going up.
Then we
So
turn.
then we turn and we knit
Yes.
back. So this is like long
and-
rows.
Yes, we have to decrease stitches here.
Decrease stitches here. Okay, so if we do it like that, you can see it. Sort of.
Yes.
So you're knitting here, decrease down
Yes.
at the waist,
Yes.
and then knit up, and then knit down again, decrease, and knit up.
Yes, to form the half of our neck. If we have the half, this one, then we have to work in rounds. We decrease here and start to decrease here also.
Okay, and
Until we have the breadth of our sleeve.
the
arm.
width of our sleeve when we
Yes.
go down. Wow, that's so interesting. And we've got sort of some triangles here, which I'm sure you've got it in some way, but essentially, I think this is for the cardigan. So why
Yes.
don't we show? We've got
The Mara cardigan.
yeah. So this is a cute little child's cardigan here.
Ah, here it is.
Oh,
Here
you've got it.
is.
Good.
I've got it.
Okay.
I wanted to show it on the cardigan. It's like the same, but it's a little bit different. We start with one front, left or right, it doesn't matter. And the first triangle is this one. We start with 1 stitch here and work here. We have only 2 increases. One is here and one here.
Okay.
So we get this triangle. We cut the yarn and then we have to start with the back. And the back is like it's a sweater. It's the same, a really big triangle. If we have this, we cut the yarn and then we make another front, this one. And afterwards we bring this 3 pieces together.
Okay, which will be like this.
This and this, yes.
And then you're knitting.
We start here with
Yeah.
1 row. We go down. Then we
On
put
the
both together
Yeah,
by
down here.
needle bind off
Yeah.
again.
And then knit up the back.
Yes,
Down the other side of the back. 3 needle bind off.
yes.
And up the side.
It looks like this on the needle. So
Okay.
this one. And the stitches are here, 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 and here. Up and down again. It's the
That's so
same.
cool. That's really, really cool. Okay, and again, you just by putting in different patterns, you're just getting all of these stripes in weird and wonderful directions that you don't normally get if you're knitting top down or bottom
Yes.
up. And I want to show, here's just a normal pattern, but it's still looking really good, isn't it, here? So that's essentially the same. You're still doing triangles?
No, that's
Okay.
a little different. That's every piece is a little different because I love new constructions. I love that. We have a very big triangle. We knit a very big one. It's here and here. So we have the whole hem, the whole one. If we have the big triangle, we start knitting only with these stitches from here to here.
Okay.
and create
The
this
little
one
upper
for
shoulder.
yes,
Yeah.
by decreasing here. We decrease in every row, and here in every fourth row. We make this one.
Okay. So you can
Then-
change the angle by either decreasing very
Yes.
rapidly or slowly, and then you've got two different angles on the same triangle. Okay. Okay.
A lot of mathematics, I think.
Lots of triangles, lots of geometry. Okay. And then?
And then we have to work here at the front and do exactly, but the different one, not decreasing, but increasing to get the same amount of stitches.
Okay. For the front piece.
Yes. Yes.
That's great.
Afterward,
Yeah.
we work only these stitches, which are on our needle. These stitches are on our needle, but we knit only here. We knit here. We have to cast on a little stitches for the button. Button.
For the button
yes,
band.
button band.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we knit here. We knit two stitches together
to join it.
Yes,
Okay.
to join it, and here exactly
And
the same.
yeah.
So we have this knitting direction, and if you are here, you have only 5 stitches from the button.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
love this diamond pattern. It's actually a super simple pattern if you hold it this way. Which way? That way. Okay, you see how simple that looks, but when you put it diagonally, it looks like, oh, that's tricky. So that's really clever, isn't it? Like people do all kinds of weird things to get this result on a top-down or a bottom-up way of knitting, but just doing it on the diagonal, you get a whole... yeah.
different.
And I just want you to have a quick look. This is a little girl's dress, and you can see how great it looks with all the colours. Is this a different construction as well?
Yes, it's
Similar.
it's similar to this one, but we have to knit a very big triangle. It ends here and here. That's our triangle.
Yeah.
Afterward, we work like on the west here, decreases, then increases here. We end up here. Then we have to cut up the yarn and work this way. Again, decreases and increases. And at
then
the end,
You're joining that?
Afterward, we knit these stitches and these stitches by decreasing 2 stitches here. At the same time, 1 stitch here and 1 stitch here.
Oh, okay. So this panel is knitted after these.
Yes. And the knitting direction is like this because of the decreases. So it's the opposite of what we do at the.
So if I'm right, just tell me if I'm right. We start here and we're doing our big triangle.
Yes.
And then we do this little triangle over that shoulder, this little triangle over that shoulder, and then we're left here and we're kind of, instead of increasing, we're going to start decreasing all the time. And we end up doing that triangle there. And then when do we do... Oh, no, this is part of the big...
Yes.
That's so clever. So this is actually part of the first big original triangle. Okay, so what I want to ask you quickly is, what about the yarns that you're using? Do you have to be careful what you use because you're always knitting on the diagonal?
Yes. I only use natural fibers like yak, wool, alpaca, cashmere, but also linen, cotton and hemp. It depends on the model, what I would like to say. It's like this one, or it's like this one. It has a very special movement because here are silk, mohair and alpaca, and they makes this
very
dancing. Yes.
Yeah. That's very, very elegant, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes,
that's beautiful.
very
And you can see the colours, how they just show the different directions. It's wonderful. Okay, so you can essentially knit with any, beautiful quality yarn and
Sure. Yes.
and almost in any gauges too, can't you?
Yes.
You can certainly do the fine gauges,
Sure.
big gauges. Yeah.
If you are very fine, you have to work a lot of more rows than like this one.
Yeah, okay. They're really, really beautiful. What other constructions or techniques have you invented or do you frequently like to use in your designs?
I love to start with only one stitch, to knit around the body and to end up again with only one stitch. So I wanted to add ruffles and tucks to my models and started to work or started to make ruffles.
Because essentially, actually, normally when you make a ruffle, you have to pick up stitches, don't you, at the end?
You have to work the whole model, and then afterwards you have to pick up to work the ruffles afterward in a extra step. I wanted to add ruffles at the knitting point, at the main piece, and if we start with one stitch and end with one stitch, the ruffles are ready too. That was
Your
very
challenge.
important. Yes, my challenge.
Okay, so we've got a ruffle here on the cardigan. So, actually, you've actually got some swatches here. Maybe it's a good idea just to quickly show our viewers what they are. So,
Yes, I wanted this sample shows how you can use ruffles, not only like a ruffle like this one, but also like an all over pattern
or something.
Yes.
Okay, just to give some 3D texture.
Yes, 3D texture.
And
you have to choose. Do you want a very big ruffles or a little small ruffles? And these ruffles are only 2 stitches width.
Yeah.
Here are 3 stitches or 5 stitches.
Okay, and what makes it wavy?
Wavy? Yes. There are 2 different steps which are very important to make ruffles. The first one is that the stitches of the ruffles, you have to knit it 1 row additionally to all the other stitches. That's the first one. The second one is that we have to slip the stitches in a corrected way.
Okay, in the correct way when you're going back and forward.
Yes.
But you can show that to us later. Okay, cool. So explain, now we've got a rough idea about how cardigans work. How does this work with it?
Yes. We start with 1 stitch, knit a triangle, and then we have to increase for the first 1 stitch for the ruffle and then 2 stitches for the ruffle. That's only increasing in the first and in the third row, and then we have 2 stitches for the ruffle, and then we are knitted like that.
Okay, so you just do this little bumpy bit, continue your row back and forward, and every row's got a ruffle in it.
Yes.
Cool. And just to show the audience, you've got a scarf here with some ruffles. So is this challenging, particularly challenging?
Oh no, I don't think so. We start again with 1 stitch here, work again this triangle, and then we are increasing the stockinette stitch, but also we start to increase for this ruffle here 1, 2, 3, and 4. We knit this way.
Yeah.
And if we get the size we want, we start here and knit at this direction.
Okay.
And put 2 stitches together from this part and this part. We knit 2 stitches. So we have this way.
Yeah.
And we have the ruffles here and here. They come together.
Okay, that's it. Are you doing it one side and then one side?
No,
it's all in one.
Yes.
Okay.
This in one, but when we are finishing the size, we start here
and then go down and up.
And then yes.
Okay, so once you're ready to do the ruffle here, you've actually got all of these stitches on hold. And then you knit down here and you knit 2 together, and that's how you're joining them. Okay, all the way down. So that's cool. And this is very, very elegant. And that is similar to this, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that's very similar. And the only difference is we have 6 stitches for the ruffles. And here are only 2 stitches. We have here, that's alpaca. It has a special movement. And we have here wool.
Yeah, which is sort of sturdier. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's really pretty.
That's why that's elegance, and that's
And
so much.
then this is a hat with ruffles across the top of it. And this is a sort of a different construction again, isn't it?
Yes,
So-
this hat is only makes by rows, not in rounds. That's very special. We started again with only one stitch here, again with a little triangle. Then we increase these stitches, stockinette stitch, and also the ruffles.
In between.
Yes. Increase, 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 until we have the half of our
Head width.
Yes.
Okay. Circumference, yeah.
Yes, this is the triangle, the first
Okay.
one. Then we work long rows. We start only with these stitches, and we knit here that way. Then we turn, we knit that way, and always more stitches.
Okay,
The
so
long
you're
rows.
not doing a front and back triangle first.
no.
You're just starting with one front triangle till you get the width.
Yes.
And then you're going to knit some extra short rows back and forward only up here to
Yes.
give more extra width at the top of the head.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. And then, so this is getting wider. And then if we switch it around here, you've only done that much so
Yes.
far. And now you're doing the opposite. You're going to be decreasing.
No, we have to work after the long rows. We have to work short rows.
Yes.
So we have this row, and then we start to shorten
Okay.
the row. And we are almost here,
Yeah.
like the first triangle.
Okay. Yes.
And then we have to start with decreases. Here, here, but also here. And we end up again
With
here.
one
Yes, with
stitch.
one stitch.
My goodness. So start with one stitch, increase, more, decrease, and
It's really fun.
it does. I think there's a lot of people who just love to knit in different directions and to do different constructions, and that's fantastic. That's really, really great. Okay, so I think it'd be good if you could just show us, give us a demonstration on how to do these ruffles.
Yes. I wanted to show how it works with ruffles. For the first, I knit the first 5 stitches of our main stitches. It's like a sweater or a jacket. So now we have 3 ruffle stitches on our needle. I knit 1, 2, and 3. Then we have to turn, because like I said it before, we have to knit the ruffle stitches 1 row additionally to the other stitches.
Okay, so you're knitting back, and this ruffle's
Yes.
going to be in garter stitch.
Yes, but only the ruffle stitches. Then I turn again to the front, and now the second very important thing is to slip all the 3 stitches knitwise together on my right hand needle. So we have this ruffle.
Okay, so you're turning it all back, and if you've got more than a 3 stitch, you can easily slip it on a cable needle,
Yes.
and then
Yes,
turn
sure.
it around and slip
Sure.
it. Okay,
Yes.
and then you just continue on.
Yes.
So that's pretty easy, isn't it?
Yes, it's really easy.
Okay. So Irina is teaching 4 workshops during the Swiss Yarn Festival, and I just thought it'd be great if you could tell us what topics are you going to be covering in the workshops, and do you also have any swatches that you can show us of examples of what the participants will learn?
Yes, I have. I bring this one. This is a Lore shawl. It works with short and long rows, but only in 2D. In 2D. I wanted to get a specific look with using 2 different stitch patterns, and use short and long rows. So
Just
you
to
can
show
see the different
all the different
knittings.
directions.
Yes.
Yeah, that really does it very well. And everything is just rows, nothing is in the round.
No.
We've got some cutout paper here, and I think one of your classes is all about paper and scissors.
Yes.
So what are you emphasizing in those classes?
Yes. I wanted to show the participants how does it work, the short rows. We start this way, we cast on these stitches, and then we start to shorten the row. So we knit here to the end, and then we shorten the row. until we have this triangle, and all the stitches here are on our needle. So if we knit again all the stitches, we get only 2D, not 3D. So like this.
Oh, okay. So just for anybody who's never done short rows before, you cast on all your stitches, and as you're and you'd knit this direction right to the end, and then you knit back. But then the second row, you don't knit all of the stitches.
No.
You keep them on your left-hand needle, but you don't knit them.
2 stitches.
Yeah, like 2 knit, and then you knit back, and then you leave another 2 stitches on the left-hand needle. And so that's why this panel is getting shorter.
Yes.
Well, shorter stitches, less stitches, but these stitches are still live. I get it. And so then gradually, in the end, your knitting will look like that.
Yes, and we have a different knitting direction from here and then to here. Something like here and on the shawl.
That's what's really exciting, isn't it? So there's no curvature, it's just different directions. Yes. And that's 2D, and this is the 3D.
Yes, the 3D. We cast on these stitches from here to here, and then we start with short rows. We knit here, leave 2 stitches on the needle without knitting, knit again
backwards,
here, back. And then again here, leave another 2 stitches, but we have 4 stitches. Yes, and so on until we have knitted until here in the middle, not here.
Okay, so this time we don't knit to the end of the row, we just stay here.
Yes. And if you would like, if you knit all the stitches again from one to the other end.
So right from here, and then you knit down there.
Yes.
Your knitting would have a slight curvature in it.
Yes, this way.
Okay.
And
so that's all short rows, because each row you're knitting less and less stitches. Okay.
That's a short row.
And then is the next long rows?
Yes, if you would like to get a more 3-dimensional thing, you have, after the short rows, we have this needle in our work, you have to do the long rows. So you start here with 2 more stitches, you knit back, and then another 2 stitches.
Okay.
So until you have all the stitches again, and then you get
even more of a curvature. So on this, it's called long rows, because even though you've got all these stitches on your needles, they're not worked, but in every row you collect a couple more stitches.
Yes,
and you knit back, collect a couple more and more. Okay, and then the more you do that, the more you've got this, looks like a bra.
Yes. That's a good idea. I like it.
Okay, so that's the concept of 3D and 2D short rows and long rows. And it's really quite magical. And we've got yet another swatch here, because you have a special way of preventing holes when you're doing short rows and long rows, because that's often the big problem, is that it can leave big holes every time you stop knitting in the middle of a row and you go back, you can get a big hole. So what is your technique?
I want to show you how I prevent holes when I'm working short and long rows. I'm working these stitches until here. These stitches were on hold.
Okay, so this part of the knitting is going to grow longer.
Yes.
Have more length than that. Okay.
Yes. And now I put this stitch on the left hand needle.
Okay, so the last stitch on your needle that's been knitted on the new row.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I turn. And I purl to the end of the row.
Mm-hmm. And Irina is doing continental purling, just for anybody who is thinking this is looking weird. Okay, so already you can see we've got more length on this side than that side.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now I knit to this point.
Which you can see is going to be a hole if you don't do anything about it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we've knitted up to that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see here is more
It's
length,
longer, yeah.
yes, than here. Exactly 2 rows.
Mm-hmm.
To prevent the hole, we have to pick up the left leg of our stitches, which is in the same row like this stitches.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the row that these stitches are on is actually now the second row down here,
Yes,
isn't it?
that's-
So not
that's
that,
right.
not that row directly
no.
underneath the stitch on the needle, but the one underneath.
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
And how are you picking it up? From
Yes.
behind or?
Yes, I'm picking it up from behind the left leg.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on my left hand needle, and then you have to knit this stitch with this leg together.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's closed up.
It's
so
close.
knit to the end of the row,
Yes,
and then we
sure.
can see how smooth that is. Okay, so that's really good. You really can't see any holes at all. I'll have to try that technique.
That's great.
That was really interesting. I personally use German short rows a lot, and I don't like the wrap and turn method. And this reminds me more of a German
Yes.
short row. It's sort of neat and tidy. So I'm definitely going to try it. Well, it's been fantastic to have you on Fruity Knitting. I think the audience are going to be thrilled, especially the ones who like to geek out on all the different possibilities of knitting.
Yes, I always say knitting is for me is like an unexplored area. It's like science, it's like physics or biology. There is so much to explore, and I'm really sure we knit or we do only a little bit, and there is so much more to explore in knitting.
That's such a great attitude. That's so inspiring. Well, thanks again for being on Fruity Knitting.
Thank you very much.
Let's say goodbye to the audience.
Bye.
Bye.
Que j'ai le cœur sensible et tendre. Je ne cherche point le danger, mais du moins je voudrais le craindre.